Well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes, that's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all just missed. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, probably best you forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, Cash Patel. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Do, any implicated dude will tell you anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. Oh, oh, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe, they owe, they owe, they owe, they owe. So it's off to war we go. We'll send the poor off the war. What else are we for? They owe, they owe, they owe, they owe. Well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes, that's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list, it's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all just missed. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, probably best you forget that list. Now what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, Cash Patel. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Do, any implicated dude will tell you anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. Oh, oh, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe, they owe, they owe, they owe, they owe. So it's off to war we go. We'll send the poor off the war. What else are we for? They owe, they owe, they owe, they owe.
We got problems. Well, maybe things are starting to look up, right? Maybe things are starting to look up, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better, but this gives me a little bit of hope, you know? Although there are people that continue with the mental gymnastics, they still try to hold on to these old beliefs. They don't want to let go. They don't want to let go. They fear letting go of things. I don't know what it is. Pride? I have no idea. But it's getting increasingly more likely that at bare minimum, Donald Trump at least knew what the hell was going on over at the Epstein estate here in New York City. Maria Farmer said it. Maria Farmer was like, yeah, they used to go out and look for girls and bring them back to the Epstein estate. And Donald Trump, along with Jeffrey Epstein, who they were freaking best friends. You know, they were hanging out at that party, dancing, you know, trying to look cool. Maybe we'll play that footage to make fun of it later on tonight. We got a lot to do here tonight, and I don't know if I'll get to all of it. I will be on Grand Theft World tonight. If you're interested, go over there and check it out. I think I'll be on at about 10:30 or so. But if you're interested, go over there and see. I don't know what I'll be asked. I think they want to talk to me about New York. I'm not sure. I'm sure all of this will come into play at some point. So at this point, we have no real recourse, right? I mean, to want to hold on to these things, we need to hold these people accountable and press. Jason Barker on America Unplugged said, they're my freaking employees. And I love that energy. He's like, these people report into me, says Jason Barker. And he's absolutely right. They don't only report into him, but they report into me too. And each and every one of you, you go to your boss and tell them you screwed up 72 hamburgers. See what develops, see what happens. There needs to be some type of accountability here. But instead, the man says it's a hoax. The man says that you're crazy for going against them, that it's a Democrat hoax. The files don't exist. There are no files. But all of it, something's going to be released, right? Or at least they're pushing for something to be released. And now all these emails that were dumped, right, they came from the Epstein estate, right? It's very different from what the government, quote unquote, claims they have. All these emails were dropped from the Epstein estate, and Caroline Leavitt, the reptilian press secretary, and Donald Trump, and everybody else involved in this, they don't deny the validity of the emails that we have all been exposed to. Now, we lack context for some of this stuff, right? That's important to note. I don't think Donald Trump went down on Bill Clinton. I don't think. I mean, it could be. They could have done it. And so what if they did? To quote Alex Jones, it's better than World War III, Owen. I'm gonna play that clip for you because it's hilarious. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Alex Jones is talking about ding dongs with literally. That's what he said. That's what Alex Jones said, and he was sitting next to Owen Schroyer. So I'll play that for you, just for entertainment's sake. But we need context for all of this stuff. But there are some very damning things that came out with this email drop. The Democrats started it. The Republicans dumped more into it. Listen, I'm happy with the people pushing back on this. I'm happy with the people wanting to know. I'm happy with those that have left MAGA. We need more. We need more of you to abandon this nonsense. Thank you. Come join the resistance because we need to resist. This isn't a matter of politics. It's not a matter of different ideologies to a degree. Unless you're a fascist, in which case you enjoy fascism. We can talk about immigration. We can have those talks. We can talk about fiscal responsibility. We can talk about all these things. We can talk about socialized healthcare. We can go back and forth and have a civilized debate and come to a conclusion that serves the people. But no, that's not what's going on here. It is a hostile takeover by an alleged pedophile, or at least a protector of pedophiles all over the world. Or maybe it's the Mossad. Maybe it's both. I think Donald Trump is a very compromised individual. With all the stuff that's been dropped and all the stuff that we're seeing here, there are possible leaks to Russia on some of these things, and there are possible leaks to Israel on some of these things. And then we know who his masters are. And he doesn't care about his actual employers. He doesn't care about Jason Barker. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about any of you, even if you voted for him. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. All that needs to happen here is that he releases this files as he promised that he would do. But also remember, he backpedaled a little bit. Maybe not so much on the Epstein files. Maybe not so much. I don't know. There's a lot of bad information in those files that will hurt a lot of people. It'll hurt a lot of people. So I don't know. But I'll give you JFK. We'll give you the JFK files. We'll give you Martin Luther King if you want that. We'll talk about the moon landings, anything that does not really matter in the great scheme of things, because people are either dead and no one's going to be held accountable, or at this point, no one cares, right? Unfortunately, there are people that do still care about the MLK assassination and the RFK assassination, but these are, and the JFK and RFK. But these are a niche issues in the great scheme of things nowadays. But as for the Epstein file, he was hesitant about that. And we played that clip long ago. And 2020 thinking, I should have queued up that clip for here today. Maybe Angry Tiger's joining me in the second hour. Maybe I'll have some time while he's on and I'll look it up and play it. But he said, that maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. But Dan Bongino said, we're giving you the Epstein files. He said that before he became the deputy director of the FBI. Kash Patel said, you're getting the Epstein files before he became the director of the FBI, the most incompetent, unqualified director of the FBI ever. They may as well just came to me. Said, Billy, we want you to be the director of the FBI. I know that you hate Donald Trump, but we need you to bring back transparency and to reshape the FBI. And I'm going to have to tell him, listen, I have no experience. I don't know what I'm doing. We don't care about that, Billy. We want you to take over the FBI. In which case I'd have said, you got it. Yes, we'll do it. And first order of business, I wouldn't even wait for Pam Bondi. I'd have been like, you know what? Here's the Epstein files, motherfuckers. You've been asking for this. Here you go. Boom. Take it. Make sure you retract the victims' names. But then you're getting the Epstein files. We're finding out about everything else. Anything you guys want to know, we're going to disclose it. But that's not what happened. They went and got Kash Patel, conspiracy theorist, to the umpteenth degree, and that is an insult to real conspiracy theorists. to call Kash Patel a conspiracy theorist and put him in a group with the rest of us. It is an insult. An insult. But he is the guy running the FBI, and a lot of people thought that was going to be a good thing. Well, I gotta give some props before continuing here today. Got to talk about my guy, Thomas Massey. I don't agree with a lot of the things Thomas Massey has to say, but what's up, Thomas Massey? How you doing? Thank you for being a real G in all of this. Thank you for really showing that you actually have some principles, that you have a backbone, and that you're not afraid, you're not going to be bullied. And what's up to Marjorie Taylor Greene? How you doing? What's going on, Marjorie? Really giving it to these people, triggered Donald Trump to the umpteenth degree. Donald Trump is calling her terrible Marjorie Taylor Greene or some shit. I forgot. He came up with some name, Brown, Marjorie Taylor Brown, because green grass, when it decays, it turns brown. This is literally what he said. And now he's talking shit about MTG to the point that she has to get security. We're going to play a clip of her tonight from CNN this morning and what she has to say. And I give her all the props in the world. We will still disagree on many things, but she at least, for whatever reason, seems to have a backbone, seems to have some principles. And she's like, you know what? That was a bunch of bullshit. At least a lot of it was. And I am turning to a point. I'm not sure if it'll be a full turn. I'm not sure she'll go back to MAGA. We've seen some things like this before when people get pissed off and they go back. Alex Jones goes back all the time. Watson, whatever the fuck his name was. I forget. I know his last name was Watson over at InfoWars. He went back several times. Like, these people just leave and go back because they have to go back to their masters. They're involved in a cult. They have been mind raped. They have been fully co-opted and taken over. by Cambridge Analytica style propaganda, by John Birch Society style propaganda, by the Heritage Foundation and the CNP. That style propaganda is what has taken hold of so many Americans nowadays. And the Americans that subscribe to what these people are putting out, 9 times out of 10 don't know what the Heritage Foundation is. Well, they might know the Heritage Foundation because that's the most visible one. And that's some of them, not all of them for sure. But they certainly don't know about the CNP. They don't know about the John Birch Society unless they're a hardcore conspiracy theorist. They have no idea. No idea what that is. And they certainly don't know about Cambridge Analytica. No idea. And even if they know something, they don't want to talk about it. They're like, you know what? We don't want to talk about Cambridge. We don't want to be involved in any in any research of any real conspiracies. We want to talk about the moon landing. Is what we want to do. Let's talk about when we didn't make it to the moon and we faked it and we can't prove anything, but let's talk about that all freaking day long. Nobody wants to talk about the real. Well, we here at the Guerrilla Underground want to discuss the real. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're here. No matter what it is, whether it's good or it's bad, we need to face these things head on. And we need to be honest with ourselves about what it is we believe and what it is that we believed. And if it's wrong, we need to be fully transparent and honest with ourselves and break away from it, no matter how embarrassing it may be. It's more embarrassing to you than it is to everyone else. Like I understand it. Like I don't regret anything, but sometimes some of the stuff that I subscribe to, I'm just embarrassed about it. Like, damn, but screw it. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I'm not going to stay there anymore. We have to move forward. And right now we don't have time for Tartaria. We don't have time for the moon landing. We don't. Things are hitting the fan. The guy sitting in the White House is right now actively looking to protect something, to hide something from the rest of us. He's calling everything a hoax. We know his name is all over it. We know it already. Pam Bondi said it. His name was all over the Epstein file. She told him, hey, listen, maybe it's not a good idea, Don, to put out these files because you're all over them. Well, get the freaking FBI, get Kash Patel in here. Let's reassign some of these agents. Let's have them sit down and scroll through these entire documents and scrub my name off of all of them. That was a report. Like 1,000 FBI agents, more or less, or something, that were scrubbing the Epstein files of Donald Trump's name. But the Epstein files also don't exist, if we are to believe the narratives that these people are feeding us. Any reasonable person at this point knows that they are lying because it's blatant. They're not even trying to cover it up. They're just assuming that you're not going to notice or you're not going to care because you've been so colonized, so propagandized. They are lying to us. The Epstein files are on my desk, said Pam Bondi. And I'm going to go over them and we're going to release them because we are the most transparent administration. They are on my desk. And then it turns out, well, they're not on my desk anymore. Actually, they never existed. I don't know what you're talking about. When did I talk about it? The Epstein files. When did I say that? Pam Bondi says. Not I, said the cat. Epstein files. Epstein files. Come on. It's a crazy conspiracy theory, guys. Come on. Let's go talk about QAnon. Yeah, let's talk about QAnon instead. Like, you don't want, no, these files, they don't exist. It's a Democrat hoax. These freaking Democrats. It's a hoax. So let's talk about, I don't know, about Joe Biden's a clone. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about adrenochrome. Let's discuss that. Let's talk about Behold the Pale Horse. I love Bill Cooper, but he's wrong about 8 million things. Let's talk about that. Dave McGowan is another big one that everybody loves to quote. Everybody loves Dave McGowan. 9 times out of 10, he's absolutely wrong, unfortunately. Hasn't proved a damn thing. We need to start proving things. Let's start here. Let's forget about all of that. This is real world stuff that we need to deal with right now. I'm going to play Thomas Massey for you, the G, the thug, Thomas Massey, who doesn't give a damn. Sure, we don't agree. Who cares? Right now, we don't need to agree on it. We never need to agree on anything. But right now, it's the most important right now that we all come together, regardless of what we believe, and push back on the tyranny, push back on the lies, push back on the global surveillance that is unfolding in front of our eyes, brought to you by an administration that said that they were pro the American people. People don't have money to buy Thanksgiving dinner, man. In America. How did this happen? Well, let's start pushing back, man. We're Americans. We have more in common, you and I. As much as you may disagree with me, we have more in common than any of you have in common with Trump or Stephen Miller or any of these pieces of filth that are sitting in the White House right now dictating what the rest of us are going to do. It should be the other way around. None of us are getting into Mar-a-Lago. Unless you're a smoking hot, I don't know, young woman. You're not getting into Mar-a-Lago. And maybe not even then. All right, let's play Thomas Massey real quick. The thug, the G. What's up, Thomas Massey? All my respect right now. Yeah, sure, we don't agree on stuff. Sure, he's probably done some detestable things that I am not aware of. I respect this. I respect what I'm about to play for you. Because he's talking the truth right now. And he's talking to MAGA, he's talking to people in government, but this also applies to each and every one of you that still holds on to Donald Trump, even after all of these revelations, where at bare minimum, he's protecting pedophiles.
But in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump. But in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles.
He's talking about all these people, all these Republicans. He's talking to MAGA and telling them, listen, because the Republicans and MAGA are two different things. The real Republicans don't even exist anymore. They disappeared along with the Epstein files. When Elon Musk created that black hole, any real Republican fell in there. They're gone. All we have is MAGA left. So he's talking to MAGA and he's telling them, listen, Donald Trump isn't always going to be there to protect you. He's sure as hell going to try to stay past 2028, in my opinion. We're getting a contested election no matter what happens in 2028. Even if it's not Donald Trump, even if Donald Trump isn't running again, or if he has died by that point, God forbid, and it's J.D. Vance, or even if he steps down and lets J.D. Vance do it, or whomever else, it's going to be a contested election. They will never admit defeat. We went through this already on a few episodes ago. Just go back and look for it. We went through it. They will never admit defeat. That this was the plan from Bannon, from Roger Stone, Michael Flynn. They will never admit defeat. So this is who he's talking to. He's like, listen, guys, at some point, Donald Trump won't be there to help you out. Donald Trump won't be there to protect you. You're going to have to come to Jesus at one point. You're going to have a come to Jesus moment. And for all of you that aren't in government and you're Christians, right, the Christian nationalists that subscribe to this nonsense and are looking for ways to protect against Donald Trump, you're going to have to answer to the big guy on that. You're going to have to answer to him. That's not my role. It's way above my pay grade. Thomas Massey is telling you the real. And he's telling all these people that are voting to protect pedophiles the real. It's like, listen, even for your own selfish reasons, this isn't going to work out for you. This isn't going to work out for you. At the very least, stop the nonsense. We're doing live production here on the Gorilla Underground, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say what's up to some of the people before we continue. We've read the documents is in the chat. That's the guy, John Brisson, investigative journalist extraordinaire, the freaking hound dog of this shit. Sure, we don't agree on a lot of things. He thinks Donald Trump is the Antichrist. I don't know. I'm not there yet. Don't know if I ever will be. But he's here lending his support. What's up, my guy? How you doing? Karen Carpenter's in the chat. How are you? What's up, Karen? Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What else we got? Isaiah. What's going on, buddy? What's up, Billy Ray? What's up, bro? What's up, my guy? How you doing? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Think, change, repeat. That's my homegirl, Ashley. What's going on? Ashley's super cool. And she's mad smart. And she knows a lot of things. What's up, Ashley? How you doing? It's always good to see you. Dustin Helm, my guy. Next level. Babylonian Mystery School intelligence. Exhibited by Dustin Helm. What is going on? How are you? I think that's all we got. I did see Jason Barker in the chat. What's up, Jay? How are you, my guy? And a lot of repeat offenders right now. What's up to all of you? Anybody I missed? My apologies. All right. What else we got? So we heard the G, the thug, the real alpha male, along with Bessie, who will knock you out. We got a Massey giving it to you, giving you the real right there. For those of you that need to hear it, you know, and I wanted to play that clip because he killed it, man. And I'm going to play Marjorie Taylor Greene later. But right now, I want to go to the Wayback Machine real quick before we get into this. And we'll probably do some of this while Angry Tiger is here, because we're not going to be able to cover everything. We're just not. And I want to make sure we get to a lot of this because it's important. Let's go back once upon a time to when Kash Patel was not the director of the FBI. He was just a conspiracy theorist podcaster. And I'm sorry to all conspiracy theorists. My apologies. I know that is an insult. I'm very sorry. I don't mean to insult you in that fashion. I will come up with another name to describe this reptilian piece of crap. So he was actively talking about the Epstein files because people wanted to hear it. And he fueled the speculation, you know, and he fueled the anger to the deep state that they painted as the Democrats. The Democrats are the deep state, according to these people. And anybody that doesn't agree with Trump. Now we're also Antifa, you know, because Antifas are terrorists, according to Stephen Miller. And if you have any opinions that are not favorable to the current regime, well, we can designate you a terrorist, a thought terrorist. Why not? I mean, they're going to be able to read your mind anyway, pretty soon. So, yeah, you know, we'll designate you that and take care of you that way. Stephen Miller pretty much said as much. Okay, that you guys are, or we are, domestic extremists, and we are Antifa. So, Kash Patel was fueling all of that shit that rode Donald Trump into the White House, you know, because don't be fooled. Don't get it fucked up. It was the conspiracy theorist and it was the Christian nationalist that comprised the base of Trump supporters and that pushed him into the White. It was these issues because they wanted full transparency. They said they were going to be the most transparent administration in the history of this nation. You remember Pam Bondi gave out these pamphlets to these people, to these influencers, to DC Drano and a bunch of other things, a bunch of other people. They had these pamphlets, they held them up and they were like, look, we have the Epstein files. Yay. You remember that Charlie Kirk was called up and told them, hey, drop this. And then Charlie Kirk turned around and said it live on air. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I trust Pam Bondi. I trust Donald Trump. I trust that this administration, they're going to take care of it. I'm not talking about it anymore. That's on video. But anyway, maybe we'll find it today and play it also. But let's go back. Let's go back. And the way back machine, put on your helmet, strap in, put on your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to travel back into time, so we can have better eyes to see and ears to hear. And we can have better understanding as to how we got to where we're at right now. Okay. Here goes Kash Patel. This is when he was being grilled not too long ago. But it also contains the clips that I want. So we're going to knock out two birds with one stone.
For covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring, let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Simple, because of who's on that list. Now, is Kash Patel the head of the FBI at this point? No. At this point, Biden was president, so it was beneficial to his punk ass to say these things because people wanted to hear it. They really did want the transparency, right? People wanted to hear it, and they're like, well, you know, the Democrats are sitting on this. They're not doing anything, you know, because they are protecting those that are on the list. Here's a reptilian piece of crap, Benny Johnson, also disgusting. So yeah, let's play it one more time. Let's go back and play this one more time because it bears repeating.
Epstein's list, they're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do.
Really? Really? It seems like an evil thing to do to protect a pedo. It's the common sense police coming around. That does seem kind of evil, right? It does. But Donald Trump is doing it, and it's okay for a lot of people. For Jesse Waters, for Megyn Kelly, trying to fucking rationalize this shit. For people in the America Unplugged chat, trying to rationalize this shit. There's no excuse for it. All right, Benny, I'm going to let you go one more time. You're still disgusting, but we got to play this.
As Epstein's list, they're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished.
And this douchebag is wearing a shirt with his name on it. Anyway, simple, because who's on that list? That explanation still applies today. And this piece of filth, this unqualified piece of crap, is sitting in the chair of the director of the FBI, fucking cosplaying as a qualified individual, not releasing the Epstein files. Oh, well, they don't exist. So what is there to release? We're going to play some footage of one of the victim's lawyers who did an interview on Democracy Now! He says that they have actual footage. You remember? Everybody wanted the footage. You know, this footage exists of Jeffrey Epstein doing nasty shit, right? And of Prince Andrew doing nasty crap and whomever else, right? because he had cameras set up all over the penthouse, even in the bathroom. They found this stuff. This is not conspiracy. This is real. Well, not a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy fact. Let's put it that way. So they found all of this stuff, but according to Pam Bondi, which is another clip I should have pulled up, that was just child porn that they had. It was just disgusting child porn. We just realized this. We were talking about all the footage that we were going to, look through and potentially release. Well, that's just, vile kitty porn. Disgusting. Which it is, very disgusting, but that's not what was on those tapes, was it, Pam Bondi? We'll get back to that. All right, more of this hypocrite Kash Patel.
That December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. Where I would say the same thing to Kash Patel and to Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino did the same crap. And they fueled the fire and fueled the fire and fueled the fire. And now they're in the White House. And now they hold the most prominent positions in the land. And they still find a way to blame the deep state about shit when they are running everything. Then they took a look at the files and they were like, oh, well, there's something we need to do about this. I mean, hey, Bill Clinton is all over these files, but damn, boss. Hey, boss, is this your name? What are they claiming here, boss? Listen, I'm down with you. I'm not going to say shit. All right, we need to figure out something here. Maybe we can just say that they got lost or that we never had them before. People won't challenge that. People won't notice. Yeah, that's a great idea. They all sat together in the Situation Room. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Bongino, Stephen Miller, freaking you name it. John Eastman, Rudolph Giuliani, who were all just pardoned not too long ago because of their role in January 6th and the 2020 election. Now, a lot of people in the alt media would say, well, I remember when Joe Biden pardoned his son. And they were like, well, why would you have to pardon him if he wasn't guilty? Clearly he's guilty. So otherwise you wouldn't have to pardon him, right? Well, use your same logic. Give me the same energy when it comes to Rudolph Giuliani, to John Eastman, who crafted this entire nonsense, this pseudo law nonsense. Talking about the 2020 election was robbed and never produced any proof. And now they're getting pardoned because you know why? They're guilty of freaking lying about all of this shit. Give me the same energy. I don't want to hear the nonsense. I don't want to hear the freaking mental gymnastics. I don't want to hear the rationalization. Okay? Because you told me that when Joe Biden pardoned his son, it was admission of guilt. So let's hold the same energy for everybody else that just got pardoned right now over the 2020 election. We're going to get into that. I'm not letting that shit go. Maybe not tonight, but we'll get into it for sure. All right, more on hypocrite Kash Patel.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black book?
black book?
FBI.
Oh, yeah. No, hold on. Let's play it again. This is from Blaze Media. I'm sorry that I have to play Blaze Media. Glenn Beck. I apologize. But sometimes we have to do these ugly things to get to the truth. Let's go back. Hold on. I just want clarity as to what Kash Patel said here, what his answer was.
Of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black book?
black book?
FBI.
But who? That is I mean,
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
Powerful. Get him, Cash. You tell him. Let's play it again.
I mean,
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
Get the fuck out of here. Holy smoke. So that means we know it's under the direct possession of the director of the FBI. Holy smokes. Great googly moogly. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Everybody watching right now, everybody watching after the fact or listening after the fact, let me ask you guys a question. If you're listening after the fact, I want you guys to see me. I'm going to come back to this. Let me ask you a question. If you're listening after the fact, please send me an email, brv1776@gmail.com. I want to hear your answer. All right. Everybody in the chat, I want an answer. I want an answer from you. I want you to tell me because I am not sure. I can't process this. I don't know what's going on. It's not working out in my brain. Who is the director of the FBI now? Who? Hey, Dustin, you have Babylonian mystery school level in. You know the secrets of the universe. Can you please tell me who the director of the FBI is? Please. Ashley, you know how much I respect you. Can you tell me? Who is the director of the FBI? Karen Carpenter. You're always digging. You're always looking for stuff. You got to know the answer to this. Who is the director of the FBI? Jason, Knights of the Storm, tell me. Who is the director of the FBI? Right now, not before, right now. Who would have access to this stuff, according to Kash Patel? Who would have access to this stuff? Also, if you're going to tell me who the director of the FBI is, and especially you, Dustin, since you have mystery level school intelligence, can you tell me where my $9,000 Doge check is? Because I really need that. You know, it's coming around, and I know other people have gotten it, and I want to know where it was 5,000 from Doge initially, then an extra 2,000, and now he said there's another 2,000 on tariffs. Donald Trump said, and I want that. I want that money. So please try to help me out. Let me know in the chat where that money is. So these two questions. Who is the director of the FBI? Because I have no freaking clue. Can't be Kash Patel. If it was Kash Patel, he'd be taking care of this shit, right? And I want my money. I want a nice Thanksgiving dinner, and I want to buy the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip on Christmas. So I'd like my $9,000. So let me know. Let me know about that. Let's rewind this real quick for clarity's sake.
Ooh, that I mean,
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
So you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the black book is under your direct control.
Common sense. Damn. But yet we don't know shit about Epstein, the Epstein files. People are still trying to rationalize these emails, right? Trying to figure it out. Be like, nah, it couldn't have been. It can't be true. It's got to be fake. It's a Democrat hoax. Meanwhile, Kash Patel and MAGA is at the White House right now. Dustin Helm says at this point, he's not sure. Babylonian mystery school level intelligence, he doesn't have a clue who the director of the FBI is. I mean, and why would you? It's a tall order to ask questions like this. I totally get it, Dustin. 100%. All right. Who's this? Oh, Ashley. Ashley says she believes it's Kash, sir. Are you sure? Are you sure? Is that does that make? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just saw a clip of him saying, the black book would be under direct possession of the director of the FBI. You would think he would release this stuff right now. I'm having a hard time rationalizing. I'm having a hard time with it. Maybe it's CERN. You think it's CERN? Maybe CERN happened and we got shifted into another reality. And this is why it's different. Now, maybe it's that. Well, thank you, Ashley. You know, at least you had an answer for me, Dustin. You couldn't even give me that. I'm going to have to downgrade your mystery school level intelligence. Incredible. Anyway, let me see. Jason Barker says, good catch. That's not what I asked you, Jay. I want to know who the director of the FBI is. Oh my gosh, man. So, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. What's going on nowadays? Thomas Clay in the chat, what's going on? How are you? It's ridiculous what's going on here. And these are the people that promised, and this is why they are in and this is why MAGA is falling apart right now. They were the ones who said that they were going to release the Epstein files. We didn't make this up. They said this shit. Let's get some clarity on this. Let's ask Pam Bondi what's going on. She might know. She might know. She might know what the deal is, right? Pam Bondi would know. She's the Attorney General of the United States, right? So if Cash doesn't know, and it's still debatable whether or not he is the director of the FBI. We don't know at this point. We have no idea. But Pam Bondi, she should know where the files are, right? Let's see. Let's see what she has to say. Hey, Pam. Hey, Pam, I'm talking to you. Please open your eyes. Listen, we're looking for the Epstein files. You guys said you had them. What's going on? And it's muted. The audiovisual department at the Gorilla Underground.
It's sitting on my desk right now. It's sitting on my desk right now.
What was that? What was that, Pam? Where are the Epstein files? Why did it mute again?
A directive by President Trump.
Releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK.
Pure and utter bullshit. Did she forget to read them? Why would she say something like this? Like, what the fuck was she doing? I mean, I think this is her job, right? So if the Epstein, first off, like just out of sheer curiosity, if they actually came to me and said, Billy, we need you to run the FBI. And of course I would tell them, I'd be like, listen, it's not a good idea. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'd be doing. And then they go, scrap that. We want you to be the Attorney General of the, I'm like, I'm not even a freaking lawyer, Donald. I don't even like you. Like, well, it doesn't matter. We think you're the right person. So I'm sitting down at the Attorney General's desk and I'm like, you know what? Shit, there go the Epstein files. Wow. It's like having the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. It's like, shit, that's the Ark of the Covenant. I may not open that out of fear, because it's like, it might suck your soul away. You're not supposed to mess with these things. But the Epstein files are sitting on my desk. I'm not going to read them. I'm not. Of course I am. I'd block out my day. Like, nobody bother me. I'm doing something very fucking important. Go bother Dan Bongino. Leave me alone. Go bother Kash Patel. Please leave me alone. And I'd be skimming. I'd be like, whoa. Does that say Bill Clinton? How many times? Holy crap. Be like, well, let me highlight the amount of times it says Donald Trump. Oh, shit. My highlighter just ran out of ink because it says Donald Trump so many times. Let me get another highlighter. Holy shit. But apparently Pam Bondi didn't give a fuck, right? These things were sitting on her desk by her own admission. And she didn't read them. Then she claims they were lost. The thing is, there was so much on Pam's desk. So much. I remote viewed into her office. I didn't tell you guys I can do that, but I can. I remote viewed into her office and I saw her desk. So in all fairness, the files are probably buried under there somewhere because there was stacks upon stacks upon stacks of paper and she just lost them. She still has her job because there's no accountability in this administration. So she still has her job. And Donald Trump says she's doing an excellent job. It's the greatest job ever done. She's the greatest attorney general this country has ever seen. Of course, because she's protecting Donald Trump, who is protecting pedophiles allegedly, or the Mossad, one of the two, or both. So yeah. Thank you, Pam. That was nice of Pam to give us some clarity on what's going on here. Epstein files are on my desk. Let me go back. What's up, Pam? Let me see if it's unmuted. Doing our own production live here. Let's see. And now I'm muted again. I just fucking unmuted
My
it.
desk right now to review.
Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files.
You don't say. You don't say. A lot of eye-opening stuff here tonight on the Gorilla Underground, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing it big. We're doing it big here tonight. We're revealing all the stuff that needs to be revealed. We are the most transparent podcast in the history of podcasting, ladies and gents. The Gorilla Underground. We want to know. That's all. We just want to know what's going on. Let me see. What time is it? It's 7:52. Angry Tiger is early, but we're going to let him in. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? Greetings and salutations.
Dude, I have a question. I have a couple of questions. I've been asking the chat. Hasn't been very productive. Nobody can really figure this out. Who's the director of the FBI right now?
That would be Kash Patel, wouldn't it?
Really?
Is it?
I mean, I don't fucking know anymore. We have footage of him saying that, the Epstein's Black Book would be in the possession of the director of the FBI.
He said that?
Yes, he did. And now he is the director of the FBI, according to you and according to Ashley. So wouldn't you think we'd get these documents if that were the case? Wouldn't you think he'd release these things?
No, they're never going to release them. No way in hell.
Hold on.
The red alligator has more chances of floating.
This is too real. I can't deal with shit like that. Please lie to me. Tell me, give me something else. This is too much blunt reality for me to digest right now, live on air. And you know what? I resent you for it. Please lie to me. Who is the director of the FBI right now?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Billy. I'm going to go DQ on you and say it's Trump. Trump's directing everything. And what's going to happen is Kash Patel is going to release the documents. We're all going to find out it's a Democrat conspiracy to go after Trump. Okay. And Trump's going to lock up everybody. But he's going to replace them with clones. So the Democrats don't know. That's what's going to happen, bro.
I love that. I love that answer. And I think you're right. 100%. I don't need any proof for any of that shit, but I think you're absolutely right. 100%, especially the part about the clones. 100% with that. Welcome to the Gorilla Underground, my guy. How are you?
Dude, it's an honor. Gorilla Underground. Yeah, baby. Here I am.
That's a dog, but I don't know how to do a gorilla sound. What? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I guess that one. It's not, as impactful.
I don't know, man. I don't ever want to hear it. Let me tell you that.
Hold on, let me get rid of Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was telling us the files were on her desk. I'm sure you remember that. She said the files are on my desk, and I'm getting ready to go over them. We're gonna let everybody know everything that's going on. Now these emails came out, and I know that you've been, looking at that and investigating some of it, right? So I'm going to pull up some of them. I have other clips I want to play while you're here. I was supposed to be done with this, but of course I filibustered this entire time. My apologies. So now you're going to help me. I want to pull up some things before we talk about it. All right, let's pull this up to lead into some of them. I'm not going to there's a lot of stuff on these emails, like a lot. I'm just going to zero in on a few things. Maybe in later episodes, we can really go in on them, on all of them. There's also the pictures that he drew that he said he didn't draw because he didn't draw because of course he can't draw. He says he can't draw women. He says it's not his signature. He's all over these emails. He's just lying and lying and lying and lying and lying about things. And this should be commonplace for anybody that's been following this for, I don't know, for 2 seconds. The guy cannot help but lie. And I've been screaming at the top of my lungs about it. And Billy has TDS. Like, no, this guy's a fucking liar. That's the issue here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
What's amazing, Billy, is that we're sitting here and talking. How could we get to this point where we're discussing the things we're discussing in this point of the nation? It's disturbing to me that, you're talking ultimate clown show stuff. We're talking about a list of files that has a bunch of politicians and rich people on it, supposedly, who have raped little kids. Okay. And the president of all these people are on the list. And this is where we're at in this country, bro.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And they're actively trying to cover it up. So let's look at this real quick. This is Elon Musk, the guy. I'm not saying a bad thing about Elon Musk on his platform. I'm just not. He's allowing me to stream here. What's up, Elon Musk? How you doing? What's going on? I have my critiques of Elon, and I've done it before, but he's a trillionaire now. Maybe you could use some of that money to help the people that are starving with what Doge did to USAID. All these kids that are dying around the freaking world because they didn't receive their food or their medicine. Yeah, maybe you can give them some of that trillion that you have. It won't be a big deal for you. But here we go. Elon Musk, time to drop the really big bomb. Let's drop the bomb on these fools, he said. At real Donald Trump, that's Donald Trump, by the way, is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Now, why would Elon Musk say something like that? What's up, sir?
Dude.
What's going on? Tell me.
This guy has been lying the whole time. You said he was a liar. Okay. Musk knows he's on the list. Yeah. Okay. Trump knows he's on the list. This is what he does. He hides bad things, or he says they're not true at all and lies about them not being true. But no, here's factual evidence, not circumstantial. Here's an example. The government being shut down during October was very good to him because the jobs reports weren't allowed to come out. The jobs reports, dude, we've lost so many jobs since this guy's been president, and October was a record. And he hides it. This is what he does. He convolutes everything, bro.
Or he just lies about it and says that it's a Democrat hoax. He says that the job reports was a fraudulent one, and it was by an activist government employee, and went ahead and fired that person because he did not like the results that he got. What are we dealing with here?
A guy that reads books written by Pol Pot. And that's what it seems. That's what it seems like. How petty can you get? I have an African friend he was just in my house a little while ago. He's picking up an
African friend. Wow.
An African friend.
Very nice.
He's Harvard educated. Oof. And he's from Kenya.
Very cool.
And we talk about all this kind of stuff. And he has told me several times within the last year, he's fearful because he sees our country is as corrupt as any country in Africa ever has been.
I have some African friends as well. Actually, Sebs, who comes on this show, shouts to Sebs. How are you? She's from Africa. And she told me, she was like, this is what my family ran away from. That's why we came to the United States, and now it's here. And she understands it because she lived it under there. Most Americans, it's the first time this stuff is happening to us. So we either shrug it to the side, we say that we're screaming that the house is on fire when it's not. But other people that recognize tyranny, that know what it looks like, they know the symptoms, they know the road that leads to tyranny. They're like, dude, we got problems, and there's a lot of people around the world that are hip to that shit. Before we go to our next clip, Tiger, give me your comments and then we'll move on.
It's scary that they, like you said, they live under this. They could recognize that the problem right now is because of the way the country's divided politically. You have half the country supporting this, or half of the voting aggregate pretty much will go along with all of this madness. Mm-hmm. They believe the story now. Now, I know guys that claim to be libertarians, and they're like, well, it's a Democrat hoax. It's a way of the Democrats, going after Trump. Yeah. Everything gets turned into that. It's a way for this person to hurt that person. You know, it's this party going after that party. The
They're
duality is destroying.
Activist judges, activist members of Congress, you know, activist whatever. Anything that goes against what this guy wants, it's a hoax, or it was activist, you know, some activist against him, or Antifa. You know, he never admits to any wrongdoing, ever, ever, ever. And that's why I always go back to the 2020 election, which a lot of people feel that was stolen from Donald Trump. I'm like, he will never admit defeat, ever, ever, ever admit defeat. And he's showing you right now. This is what he does. Everything is a hoax. As long as he, you know, if it's not favorable towards him, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. So this was one of the emails, one of the most prevalent ones, one of the most impactful ones. There's many, you know. They said the 2,300 pages were released from the Epstein estate. My guy, Twisted, seems to think that Ghislaine Maxwell and the Epstein estate are blackmailing Donald Trump. And that's why they're dumping this stuff. I mean, I don't know how true that is. It's just speculation. But I guess Ghislaine Maxwell is currently sitting in a luxury prison, and she gets puppies taken to her now.
How does that work?
Yeah, no lie. And I think she's gonna get pardoned. I mean, I don't know how he goes about it after this, but she stands a good chance of getting pardoned at some point. And Venezuela, there's a problem. Beware. Okay, they're gonna go. I mean, they were gonna bomb you anyway, but now it's almost definitely gonna happen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We're not even getting started in South America right now, Billy.
Right. So this is Jeffrey Epstein sending an email to Miss Maxwell. It says, "I want you to realize that he has a problem typing sometimes. I do that all the time, so I get it. I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump, and the dog that hasn't barked is a reference to Sherlock Holmes, right? Is Trump," he says. And then they have victim here, which was redacted. And it turns out they revealed that it was Gouffre, right? That it was her. Spent hours at my house with him, right? He has never once been mentioned, and then it says police chief, etc. I don't know what that means. In 75%, it's I'm 75% there. It says, and then Maxwell replies, "I have been thinking about that." So she's not, you know, pushing back on it. She is thinking about it because she knows what Epstein is saying to be true. This is a big one because, you know, at bare minimum, we can deduce from these emails that Donald Trump at least had knowledge of what was going on. Maybe, right? This is just an allegation. This isn't proof of anything, right? Maybe he did spend hours with Virginia Gouffre in a room over at Epstein's house. I wouldn't put it past him, right? He seemed pretty pissed off that she was taken from Mar-a-Lago. So I certainly would have put it past him, but at bare minimum, I think he knew what was going on, and that's damning enough. Thoughts on this, Tiger?
Well, listen, Quentin Tarantino could take one of those hallucinogenic frogs, shake it real hard, and make it really mad, and lick it, and not dream this story up. Listen to what so this email, dude, it sounds like I mean, honestly, what we're talking about is the president of the United States spent time at a mansion, okay, that is known for sexual abuse to minors, okay, with a woman, okay, or a girl, all right, who later on, there's a body in this one. There's a body here who later on killed herself. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, she killed herself for sure. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence there, but from looking at history and the stuff that we all have looked at, none of this looks good. I mean, you got to be super suspicious. I mean, it's the lady who spent a bunch of time with the president when she was a minor at some guy's crazy sex mansion. Okay, kills herself.
Yeah. I mean, what are you doing in a room with a minor for that amount of time? With a young girl, and we have it on record. Trump saying, "Oh, Epstein likes young girls on the young side." Even you can even say more than I like girls. Like because they loved girls, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with underage girls, and this is why Maxwell is in jail. This is why Jeffrey Epstein was in jail. And he quote unquote committed suicide in jail. And that's one of the conspiracy theories that I don't want to let go. I don't believe that he killed himself. And now with these revelations, it's like, who had the most probable cause to kill Jeffrey Epstein? Who was it going to hurt the most? I'm gonna put up another email with Michael Wolff. We covered Michael Wolff quite a bit here on the podcast. A lot of valuable information from that guy, but I have some issues with him. So we're gonna cover that. But before we get there, I want to play Jeffrey Epstein talking about. He was asked about if he and Donald Trump spend time with underage girls. Under the age of 18. The hell did I just do? Yeah, he was asked if he did that, and his response is interesting. I don't know if you've ever heard this.
No.
We'll react in live time.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with?
I think I stopped it. All right. Yeah, so he didn't want to answer the question. I mean, that's an easy question, right? If somebody asked you, hey, listen, have you and Billy been in a room together for an extended period of time with girls, underage girls? It's an easy question to answer. No, that's never happened. It will never happen. It has not happened. And I stand by that statement. But Jeffrey Epstein says, I'd like to answer you. I'd like to answer you, but I can't. And at least not at this time. So I plead the 5th. And we'll get into why he didn't answer the question in just a bit, because it has a lot to do with Michael Wolff. And the Michael Wolff email, I should say. And Donald Trump. And possibly Steve Bannon. But he pleaded the 5th, dude, when they asked him if he was hanging out with young girls along with Donald Trump. Is that not damning enough?
Well, normally when you're dealing with law, when you plead the 5th, it's to not, and every other amendment he claimed there is to not incriminate yourself. In this instance, I believe he was pleading that case not to incriminate someone else, because there's yourself or someone else legal language wise. So you can use the 5th for not only not incriminating yourself, but someone else.
So who was he not going to incriminate?
Well, it would be Trump, because the question was directly asked about him. So you have to extrapolate circumstantially. I mean, that the odds are that, yes, the answer to that question was yes, because he did not want to. If you go by legal terminology and the way the court works and the way lawyers talk and all of that, he didn't want to incriminate Donald Trump.
Right. I agree with you. I also think he didn't want to incriminate himself, but I think, and this is just speculation, and we're gonna pull up the email that I'm talking about just now. But I think he didn't want to, because he hated Donald Trump. After a while, they had a big falling out, and the emails that have been released state that he really didn't like Donald Trump, even though they had a connection that lasted long past the time when Trump said he severed it. Anyway, according to these emails, that's a thing. But Could he have been just saving that information for blackmail? You know, could he have just been like, I'm not going to say it right now because I haven't gotten what I need to get out of this. So I'd like to answer it, but I'm not going to. Speculation, of course, but I want your thoughts.
Well, okay, so that's a pretty good, that's an astute observation, Billy, because basically you're talking about a guy whose job it was to blackmail people. Okay, so with that being said, you hold that, hold it as close to your chest as possible. Each person's got his own cards. Right. You take their cards, you hold them to the chest. You don't want to use all the cards at once because you don't know when you're going to need this person again.
Right.
So absolutely. Especially in the clandestine fashion that he was working for, all these other agencies. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's a good one to absolutely point out.
All right, let's look at this. All right. So this is another one of the emails that came out. And this one involves Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff is an author that was intimately involved with Epstein. Epstein asked him to write his biography. And Wolff rejected him initially, but went along with it afterwards. Also has a relationship with Steve Bannon. He used to hang out with Epstein at his home, and he saw a ton of people walk in and out of there. This is his own admission, Donald Trump being one of them. And he's actively talking about how bad Donald Trump is in relation to all of this. I think he could have done more, but regardless, I think this is very telling. I don't know if you've seen this one. I know a lot of people have. So here is the initial email. It says, I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you. So he's writing this to Epstein, either on air or in scrum afterwards. Right. So wrote that to him. And then Epstein replies, right, and says, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? All right. So what the fuck? This is in 2015. 2015. And he's talking about being able to craft an answer and get it to Donald Trump. Okay, this is what Epstein said. If we were able to craft an answer for him, what would it be? So at that point, they're looking out for each other. It's like, you're involved, I'm involved. Here's what you should say to cover me and to cover you. This is what Epstein wants out of this. I don't think I'm reading too much into this. Okay.
No, not at all. What's amazing to me is that these people at this level of operation are doing this in an email.
Yeah, man.
Bro, I'm from the streets. I mean, everybody knows if you need to talk about important stuff, and this goes way back to all organized crime, all underworld thinking. You do that shit in person where you can make sure ain't nobody's going to hear it. No, nobody can hear you. Yeah. And just because we got advanced technology doesn't mean that you let them. I mean, you make a record of it that's going to be stored forever.
No, man, that's a great point, bro. Like we can't ignore the obvious, right? You wouldn't do anything like this. I wouldn't do anything like this. Other people have done stuff like this. But at this level, right? People that actively engage in blackmail. He was probably a Mossad agent, right? Like, what are you doing? You know, it's like, so all of that is there, especially to a guy like Michael Wolff, who is literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, that guy is dangerous, you know? And he's coming out with a lot of good information, but he is a dangerous guy. And I'll tell you why. So it says, you know, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Here is Michael Wolff's reply. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. Listen to this shit, Tiger. Listen to this. It gives you valuable PR and political currency. He's like, let's blackmail him. Let's blackmail him. Fuck. So at this point, right, there's so many things here. What's the connection to Donald Trump? What's the lifeline? What's the line that you have, right, to Donald Trump to be able to get him an answer of what he should say during a CNN town hall or whatever this was? So where's the connection there? Because according to Trump, they weren't cool anymore, right? So there exists a connection, and it could be Steve Bannon. I'm speculating that because Steve Bannon and Michael Wolff are very good friends. So that's how you go there with that, right? And Epstein is trying to protect all parties here. He's like, all right, Trump, we're gonna draw up an answer for you. Me, Michael Wolff, and potentially Steve Bannon, allegedly. I'm alleging that. I don't know that to be true. But it's Michael Wolff and Epstein, at least, who are supposed to be coming up with an answer for Donald Trump to give. So that would theoretically protect Epstein and protect Trump. And Michael Wolff is like, screw that, dude. Here's what you do. Let him say whatever the hell he wants. Let him hang himself. And then you use the information to your advantage to get out of jail, to get a freaking pardon, to do whatever it is you need to do. He's a dangerous, dangerous individual, bro. I think that's dangerous. I think that's an untrustworthy guy. He gave some explanation saying, as an author, as an investigative journalist, I have to do certain things in order to get in, meaning he cannot be trusted at all.
He's a chameleon.
Holy crap. Go ahead.
If you go off that basis that he's an investigative reporter, and this is the excuse he's using for being on the in on all this, he's on the in,
right?
Apparently, if Epstein's asking him, what should we do? Right. Look, dude, I don't like being bombastic or like a lot of conspiracy things. There's certain things I kind of laugh at when people tell them to me or they can't prove them.
Of course.
But this kind of like Bannon, Wolff, Epstein, they all sound like they're government spooks. All of them.
They are.
They're all government spooks,
right?
Of one form or from one faction or another. Do you hear what you're talking? And what rotten people they are.
Yuck.
Let's blackmail him. Use it so you can hang him later. Use it so you can make him after he's president. We can do things with this.
Holy crap. Yuck. Disgusting, man. And all these people in government right now that know all about this nonsense and are covering it up. Shame on you, bro. Nasty. Disgusting. Yuck. Ugh. It literally disgusts me, bro. How do these people sleep at night? I don't understand it. I don't get it. And what I don't get even more is how people still try to rationalize this or to run cover for this piece of filth. Jesus. Not cool. And also, Michael Wolff is sitting on a trove of information. I don't know if he can release it legally or not. I have no idea. But he's sitting on all of this. He knows what went down. He's a very dangerous guy in a lot of ways. Melania Trump sued him and he was like, come on, let's go. Let's do it. Melania Trump sued him or threatened to sue him for about $2 billion. It was a ridiculous amount of money.
Again, not to be conspiratorial, but this guy sounds like
this is a conspiracy. This is what this is.
This sounds like this guy's a public handler. He's in the public spotlight. He can get sued by Melania Trump. Sounds like he's a handler. He can handle things. Maybe the Trump and like Don likes to call it the Trumpenstein project or whatever. This particular presidency, he's going to be the guy that's going to handle things in public to a certain extent with certain things. Look at what's going on here, dude. Look at the clown show that we are. Does any other country have a scandal like this going on? Do you need the enormity of this scandal? And then you got all the MAGA people. Okay, I don't know what they've got going on in their brains. And then you've got people just on the right who don't like Democrats. For the sake of not liking Democrats, want to ignore everything we're talking about. I don't have a horse in either race of that nonsense. As soon as I hear people talking partisanly, my eyes kind of glaze over. I kind of have to like filter and try to like, okay, what are their political points, and forget the fact that they're still looking at the duality there and thinking it means something other than destruction to us.
Right.
So I'm against Republicans or against them. I'm against that ideology in general. That's
Twisted.
what allows them to do this.
Right. I agree with you. Twisted is in the chat. What's up, Twisted? Good to see you.
Twisted, communicate what's going on.
He's over here doing his thing.
He is definitely part of the underground. Stomping the concrete. He's punishing the concrete with his feet, bro. Concrete's going, oh, shit, Twisted, stop, brother. You're killing me.
Don't make me laugh.
Sorry, Billy.
I'm going to start coughing. Okay. I want to play this Democracy Now! Clip. If you're not listening to Democracy Now! And you really want to hear real stories, they may not be the perspective that you want, but they're real stories by real people, real investigative journalism. I implore you to listen to Democracy Now! You're not always going to agree, but it's always excellent info, and they've been going in on Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play this clip. I think it's about 2 minutes or something. Maybe I'll pause in between, but I want reactions on this. So here we go.
Those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Welcome to our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world. I am the one able to take him down. Those are the words of Jeffrey Epstein talking about Donald Trump in a private email written in 2018. The email is part of a trove of over 20,000 pages of documents released Wednesday by the House Oversight Committee, raising new questions about President Trump's ties to the deceased convicted sex offender. Earlier on Wednesday morning, Democrats on the committee preemptively released 3 emails from the files. In one email from 2019, Epstein wrote that Trump, quote, knew about the girls. In another email from 2011, Epstein described Trump as the, quote, dog that hasn't barked, noting that Trump had, quote, spent hours at my house with Virginia, a reference to the late Virginia Giuffre, who accused Epstein of grooming and sexually trafficking her beginning when she was 16 years old. The Democrats released a version of the email with Virginia's name redacted, but an unredacted version of the email was later released.
In a recently published memoir, Virginia Giuffre writes she feared she would, quote, die a sex slave at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. But in the book, Giuffre does not allege wrongdoing by Trump. She worked at Trump's Mar-a-Lago before being recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. In another email from 2015, Epstein asked a reporter at the New York Times, quote, would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? We're joined now by Spencer Kubin, who represents several survivors of abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We have a lot to ask you about in very...
Now, this is a lawyer for some of the victims, intimately involved in what's going on here. This isn't your favorite podcaster talking bullshit. All right? This isn't your favorite podcaster speculating about nonsense. This is a guy that's been intimately involved in the process for years.
A small amount of time. Start off by responding to these emails that have been released. And now the latest news that the House is going to vote on releasing the whole trove of Epstein-Maxwell documents by next week, not in December, as was previously thought. Do you think Johnson get one of the Republican Congress members who are calling for the release to flip?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And I'm not sure exactly what they're going to actually do. But remember, this is just one procedural hurdle, right? The House has to pass this discharge petition. And then once the discharge petition has now gone through, they've got to vote on the floor. Then once that vote occurs, it's got to flip over to the Senate. And then the president will then have to sign off on releasing this information. So there are times or periods in this process where it can get hung up. And we never end up seeing this information. Also, remember that the most important thing that we want to see.
You heard what he said there. Let's rewind it a little bit.
And Ghislaine Maxwell. We have a lot to ask you about in very
I went too far, but I'm going to play it.
Time. Start off by responding to these emails that have been released. And now the latest news that the House is going to vote on releasing the whole trove of Epstein-Maxwell documents by next week, not in December, as was previously thought. Do Do you think Johnson get one of the Republican Congress members who are calling for the release to flip?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And I'm not sure exactly what they're going to actually do. But remember, this is just one procedural hurdle, right? The House has to pass this discharge petition. And then once the discharge petition has now gone through, they've got to vote on the floor. Then once that vote occurs, it's got to flip over to the Senate. And then the president will then have to sign off on releasing this information. So there are times or periods in this process where it can get hung up and we never end up seeing this information.
What's the probability of that, bro?
Well, the president has to sign off on it pretty high.
Right, man. So I think that's going to be the tipping point for a lot of people if he refuses to sign this.
Well, there's the ace in the hole that he has, but he can't use that, dude. In the public eye, there's no way.
What's the ace in the hole?
Well, if they choose to release it and if he doesn't sign it, dude, publicly, he's cooked.
Right.
I mean, at least for everybody who's not MAGA. There's nothing.
Well, you're right. You know, he could murder somebody, right? That's the whole thing. He can kill somebody in the middle of Times Square, and these magazines.
Dude, he could murder Santa Claus and drink his blood, dude, and they'd be like, "It's okay, it's okay." Hey, somebody go get him the Easter Bunny because the Easter Bunny, you know, he comes from South America over there.
The Easter Bunny is the deep state.
Yeah, he's next.
Right, and he's the Easter Bunny is Antifa, so this needed to be done. All right, let me finish playing this clip.
Also, remember that the most important thing that we want to see and that the general public should be shown isn't necessarily the documents. It's the videotapes and photographs that were taken into custody by the FBI at the various different homes of Jeffrey Epstein.
The videotapes and the document are not even the documents, it's the videotapes that they have. He is saying that they have videotapes. This guy's seen the evidence. He's seen these emails from before. This is nothing new to him. He's saying that they have videos. You remember I played way back Pam Bondi saying that it was just child porn that they had on there, that it was nothing. Not that it was nothing, of course, but it was just that there wasn't any incriminating videos of Epstein or anyone else. They didn't have any evidence. Now this guy is saying they have videos of this. I rewinded it a little bit. Let me see if I can get it back to where it's supposed to be.
Hurdle, right? The House has to pass this discharge petition. And then once the discharge petition has now gone through, they've got to vote on the floor. Then once that vote occurs, it's got to flip over to the Senate. And then the president will then have to sign off on releasing this information. So there are times or periods in this process where it can get hung up and we never end up seeing this information. Also, remember that the most important thing that we want to see and that the general public should be shown isn't necessarily the documents. It's the videotapes and photographs that were taken into custody by the FBI at the various different homes of Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about his homes down in the Virgin Islands, here in Palm Beach, where I'm at, as well as his home in Manhattan. That's the information that's going to speak 1,000 words. That's what the general public needs to see.
Thoughts?
Wow. So basically, this guy's saying there's an avalanche of evidence.
Yeah.
That he can't talk about and we haven't seen.
Right. That's exactly what he's saying.
And he can't get up there and just say that willy-nilly.
No. This is serious shit. You know, and so these things exist. We've been told that they don't exist. We've been told that the Epstein files themselves don't exist, but we were also told that any incriminating videos do not exist. Pam Bondi said this. How do you do that? How do you do that? I can't rationalize it, dude. How do you do that? After seeing what you've seen, I'm assuming that she's seen it because the Epstein files were sitting on her desk and she never read them. So maybe she didn't even see these videos either. I mean, I wouldn't blame her. Who wants to see that shit? But it's kind of her job. Let me finish playing the clip and then we can keep going.
Those videotapes, and does the Epstein estate have what many feel the government should have taken?
Well, I believe the videotapes are in the custody of the FBI because, remember, he was arrested at Teterboro Airport and he never had an opportunity to get back to his mansion post-arrest. And the FBI then executed a search warrant on his home in Manhattan. That is where we believe that a wealth of video evidence was maintained. In addition to that, they then executed a warrant in the Virgin Islands. We know that after his arrest here in Palm Beach, or actually I should say just before his arrest, he had a team of people that took hard drives away from the home here in Palm Beach and secreted them away. We always understood as attorneys back then in 2007, 2008, when I was representing these young victims, that they had likely taken that evidence off to the Virgin Islands to secure it. So they've got 500 gigabytes of information that needs to be released.
You hear that shit? They know where they are. They know when he took them, and that's not even including any of the other shit that they found.
Well, they must have a gigantic washing machine on the Virgin Islands that they have there, right?
Absolutely, bro. Something's up.
Well, Spencer, you had already seen the emails that were released yesterday, including the one that disclosed that Trump spent hours with Virginia. They were under a protective order by a federal judge, which is why you couldn't disclose them. Now, if you could talk about when you first saw them, what most surprised you, and whether...
So these emails were under a protective order by a federal judge. So they couldn't have been dropped. And that might explain why Michael Wolff didn't disclose all of this stuff. Even, I mean, he's been slow dripping on Instagram and on TikTok, you know, amassing a huge following. And I can understand if this is the case, right? If the legalities of it got in the way of him being fully transparent about it. But what I can't understand is him saying, hey, let's blackmail these people. You know, I don't care what you're trying to do. As far as your story, right, or how far you're wanting to get in here, but to say, yeah, let's blackmail Donald Trump. You know, like were you gonna write in the book that we blackmailed Donald Trump? I don't think that's legal.
It's government spook stuff. These people are snakes.
Yeah,
that's how snakes act. Think about it.
Other lawyers or yourself have seen any of the photographic or video evidence that you say is so crucial?
Well, I can't talk about things that might be protected by, still protected by protective order. What I can tell you generally is that the emails were part of a litigation that occurred down.
So they asked them point blank, have you seen the videos? Point blank, they asked him, and he's like, I can't talk about that because it's still protected legally.
I'd like to know how anything is protected legally like that. Is it because it's under an investigation?
That's under investigation, right? And that's the theory that is going around saying as to why Donald Trump is now opening up an investigation on Bill Clinton, right? Because saying that Bill Clinton and the Democrats, right? Because he did this. He said we got to find out. We got to get to the bottom of it because it's a Democrat hoax. You know, he says we have to have an investigation on Bill Clinton and any prominent Democrats that were in any way connected to Jeffrey Epstein. So that will again trigger legalities, which can force the Epstein files to not be released even longer. You know, that's what some legal experts and lawyers have been saying. I don't know how true this is. I am not a lawyer, but it sounds about freaking right to me. You know, and my guy here is pretty much saying, yeah, you know, I can't talk about that. It's not a no, and I can't talk about it.
In the Southern District of Florida, and when that disclosure occurred, remember that our advocacy as attorneys was on behalf of victims to try to upend or turn over the sweetheart deal that the U.S. government had executed with Jeffrey Epstein because they failed to keep the victims informed of that deal. I only learned of it on behalf of my clients because an informant told me that I needed to rush to court because this secret deal was about to be entered. So a lot of that information was turned over in that litigation. We weren't really focused on Trump at the time, so it wasn't the focus of our investigation or our litigation back then. We were just tangentially aware that they existed. Now that the focus is on this material, I can say that there is a lot more to come. And I can say that the FBI does have more information that needs to be released.
Well, the FBI has also interviewed, as you've said, over 40 girls, some just 14 years old. So where are those
Jesus. You hear that? Fuck.
interviews?
Children, dude.
And is there any likelihood that those, the content of those interviews would be released?
Well, first and foremost, I would wish that the identities of those individual victims continue to be protected. Some of them, like a lot of my clients, nearly all of my clients, have remained anonymous even to this day, almost 20 years later. No one has the identities or names of my clients that I have kept confidential. So I would hope that that remains to be the case. But the contents of those interviews, in other words, what they said and who they were with and who they told police they had been with and been traded to at Epstein's mansion, we believe that that information should be made public, along with the videotapes and photographs that we believe the FBI has in their custody.
And Spencer, your response to the latest revelation that Ghislaine Maxwell, aside from getting very special treatment at the minimum security jail that she was sent to in Texas, that has shocked many because sex abusers are not supposed to be in these minimum security facilities, is applying for a commutation of her 20-year sentence?
Well, of course she is. I'm not shocked or surprised at any action that Ghislaine Maxwell takes. She's a convicted liar and sex predator. So I don't believe anything she does, and nothing she does shocks me after 20 years. She will do anything she can to trade on information that she believes she has. We've seen that now in some of the emails that this duo of Epstein and Maxwell were all about leverage. They were trying to use leverage when discussing President Trump. They continued to use leverage when they were discussing Andrew in England and other notorious individuals. And I believe that that deal was struck to transfer her to this prison before she ever spoke to the Department of Justice. Because why would a criminal, and why would an attorney advising a criminal to tell them, speak to the Department of Justice when you have a pending appeal? It's asinine. It makes no sense whatsoever, unless there was a deal that was struck beforehand that said, listen, if you talk and keep Trump's name out of this, we'll transfer you to a nicer prison.
Spence.
All right, man. What are your thoughts, brother? That was a banger.
Well, this guy, I mean, he's got a lot of information. You know, I'm surprised they're letting him walk around. Number one. Number two,
good.
I would like to know, okay, so I was in federal prison and I know how the classifications go.
Right.
So not only a sex crime, but the sentence classification of 20 years. You're not supposed to be in a camp on camp level. Camp level is 10 years maximum. And that's like, you know, for really light crimes, nonviolent crimes, or guys that have been in for a long time and they only have 10 years left and they're older guys usually.
Right.
You know, but that's, I don't know what strings were pulled, but unless something changed, that's not VOP operating procedure at all.
Man.
At all.
Boy, let me tell you, man, things just keep getting weirder and weirder. I mean, it's not like we didn't know, at least some of us. But here it is now. It's up to you to decide what you're going to do with the information. It's up to you to abandon this stuff, right? To leave it alone. You know, it's okay to be wrong. We're going to be more wrong than we are right in this lifetime. Just leave. Come join the resistance and help us push back against this nonsense that's going on. I don't know if I want to continue. It is 8:40. There's also the email of what's being alleged that Donald went down on Bill Clinton. I think that's nonsense. But I do want to play.
Billy, the sad part about all this is it's now. Before, it really wasn't a political soccer ball. A serious topic like this is being marginalized and turned into a political soccer ball.
Right. Well, that's what it is now. That's what politics in America are, and it'll never get better. I think it's always going to be.
No, good Lord. Hogshead is here.
Oh, you want to hear this? You're going to want to hear this. This didn't age well. Let's see what Alex has to say. Come on. Hold on. We have to get the full context here.
There's going to be a nuclear war next week. Buy my iodine.
Here we go. What the fuck, bro? How come it won't play? I don't understand these clips sometimes. Like I unmute it, then it mutes itself again. I want to get it from the beginning. Let me see. That's why we need the audio visual department here at Gorilla Underground to step it up. Let's see. It's still unmuted. Now it's muted. I'm going to come over here, unmute it. There it is.
President Trump sucking a ding dong. There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding dong. And so what if there was? That's a lot better than World War III, Owen. I know.
It's my favorite thing ever in life. And so what if there was? It's better than World War III, Owen. Well, I never thought we would get to this point, even though it's not Bill Clinton, it's some other Bubba. That I don't know. Apparently Epstein's brother came out and clarified the situation there. But for a while it was going around that, he potentially had some type of sexual relations with Bill Clinton, and it would be really hard for me to accept that. Not to accept it, to believe it, I should say, because I don't know. But I had to play that Alex Jones clip because it's freaking hilarious.
It is hilarious. It wouldn't surprise me if they were buddies.
Listen, there's no videos of Donald Trump sucking a ding dong. Okay. And so what if there was?
So what? Billy, that's all right.
It's better than World War III, Tiger.
Oh, it's all right, Billy. All right. It's okay. You accept no matter what. This is Alex, how more obvious can it get that someone is in the bag and will say and ignore reality? This is the problem, dude. People are ignoring reality. This is serious. And this whole Epstein thing, to me, again, is a watermark of morality of the country, of the government, of what we're willing to accept, how far we've gotten, how corrupt we are, how rotten the empire is. Mm-hmm. Okay. And to me, it's both sides. I see both sides. And I see this corruption, and the people are used to it like it's commonplace. This is, they should be trying to hide all this. They're not even trying to hide any of this.
Hide. They're blatantly lying. They're blatantly lying, blatantly talking nonsense, man. And people accept it. And as long as people continue to accept nonsense, and this is prevalent in our circles here in the alt media, people continue because you want to believe it. And I understand we've been beat down, right? They've lied to us many, 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 many times, right? And how do you believe known liars, right? But that doesn't mean that whatever's going on in the alternative is somehow the truth, right? We can be lied to here and led down a different road that leads to the same place, so we need to be fully aware of that. And here we go, man. Things are going to hit the fan, brother, even worse than they already have, right? This is going to get, in my opinion, I think this is going to happen. It's going to fall on Trump's desk. He's either going to veto it, or he's going to come up with some legal reason as to not release it, or he releases it. Those are our three options, and all hell is going to break loose no matter what happens. Okay, so we have to we have to deal with that. Also, I think as a result of everything that's going down, he's going to get even more aggressive on some of these things. I'm very, very, very concerned about what's the potential of what's about to go down in Venezuela.
They're easing in chaos right now, bro, across the country, across the world. They're easing in the chaos. This is part of it. Absolutely. I'm telling you, Billy, I did an emergency broadcast a week ago. I'm not messing around up here. I don't have enough people. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to do any of that.
Right.
I don't look at things and I try to be pragmatic and have evidence. I mean, I have people say, well, I don't want you to think, I'm going to say something. It's a little conspiratorial. That's how anti-conspiratorial I try to be with what I report on, because it's the economy.
Right.
Okay. So there's a responsibility to me to make sure what I'm saying is real. It's numbers. It's things you can't change. It's terra firma stuff on the ground, real stuff. I'm reporting on the people who make stuff to ship things in, the dunnage, the packaging industry is being devastated in this country.
Right.
People who sell us stuff, other countries, production that sell us things. Okay. These are like real tangible things.
Right.
They're devastated because the Western countries aren't buying anything because they don't have money. Every loan default across the board, every month, the numbers are hitting records consistently.
Right.
In October, we lost 38,250 jobs a week.
Jesus.
A week. And the cuts continue, and the failing businesses and chain businesses, Target's closing stores, all these, there's an on and on. UPS is cutting workers. What's going on now? If I'm looking at it, and this is real stuff, that's going to create chaos. On top of the chaos, you said, like with Venezuela, they're terrorists. That means we're going after them. They're calling them terrorists. I was talking to Daniel McAdams about this. That word terrorist means we're going after them. South America is going to be the new Middle East, because there's a lot geopolitically going on. The historical context is the same. Just think about the Middle East. Russia had proxies and the United States had proxies. You have the same exact thing going on in South America. Only the problem is America doesn't have as many proxies as the BRICS nations do.
Tell the people where they can find you, Tiger. I'm getting out of here.
Time to go to bed. Very tired. Rumble. Tiger's Den.
Fantastic.
And Twitter, Tiger's Den.
Go follow the tiger. I mean, be careful. You might he might bite you, but that's the risk you run. So you've been forewarned. Thank you for joining me and helping me rant a little bit about all of this. Next time I'll bring you on and we can talk about the economy. It's all linked together, man.
You're not mad because I brought up the economy, are you, brother?
Absolutely not. No, that was my intention.
Right. We got problems, man. And Trump is.
I went on a freaking rant, and we covered what we covered. I'm sorry.
We're good.
I wanted to talk about other things, to switch it up for some of the people. But I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, it's a thing, right? And everybody needs to know what's going on here. And I think we did a good job at showing you what's out there and what the people that are involved have to say about it. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to accept the information or not. That's fine. But here's where we are. This guy has lied to us continuously. If you didn't think he lied to us in the 2016 version of what's going on now, 2016 through 2020, you can't deny that he's lying to us now. I mean, I guess you can. But I mean, for the last 9 months, it's been lie after lie after lie, defeat after defeat after defeat, nonsense. And we the people are the ones that are bearing the load. We the people are the ones that they're building their fortunes on as we continue to be broke and struggle and live paycheck to paycheck, But hey, here's where we are. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. This has been the Guerrilla Underground. Check us out every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern on my X and on my YouTube channel. Hold on. Let me see. I think there's 18 people in my YouTube channel. There was at one point 21. Very happy about that because typically it's like 10 or 13. So there's more people watching over there. I don't know who they are. A lot less people watching on X, though. We just eclipsed 100 people. And I'm grateful for you being here, although I would like to see those numbers higher. They've been higher, but I piss a lot of people off, Tiger. I say things that people get upset about.
Well, here's the thing. There's more than the audience. The problem is a lot of our audience is following us around from other places.
Yeah.
And they still believe a lot of different things that, or they're not as open-minded as they'd like to think they are.
Oh, that's all.
Some people who don't want to listen, but you're going to grow, brother. Everybody listening, share. Let's help.
Okay. I did this on purpose. I knew what was going to happen when I did it. It happened. It is what it is, and I'm fine with it. Perfectly fine. I would have been not fine with it if I continued doing what I was doing, knowing what I know. So I'm glad. All right. So make sure you follow us 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Gorilla Underground, or on my X, and maybe we will branch out to other places, not anytime soon. So those are the 2 places that you can find us right now. Or theinfinitefringe.podbeam.com. You're going to want to go over there and subscribe because I'm going to turn it into the Gorilla Underground and start posting these things. I don't know how I will do that. I guess I just have to change the name and it'll change. I'm not sure. But I haven't had time to do it, but I will. And that's it, brother. You get the final say, closing thoughts, something quick. Give the people something to be happy about.
Be happy about. You got plenty to be happy about. You got love. Love is still in the world.
Yes.
It's in your personal life. It's in your life around you. You have the love of your creator. Keep that in mind. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let them turn you into a hater. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Don't hate unless
they can't take it from you. Don't give it away.
Don't hate unless it's legit hate. I don't know. I have no idea.
Thanks, Billy. I pour out a nice glass of milk. And what does Billy do? He throws some mud cake in it. Here you go. There's some mud cake.
Hey. What's up, Guard Goldsmith? I see you, my brother. How are you, man? We'll link up soon. Let's get up out of here, brother.
Well, you got your your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes. That's a wish.
This is my theme song.
You got your Amazon and
I love it.
Fair too. But I know a list that don't exist, but it's so do you. It's the Epstein list. It's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all just missed. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, probably best you forget that list. Now, what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no damn Bongino, Cash Patel. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Do any implicated dude will tell you anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I hope. So it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe. So it's off to war we go. We'll send the poor off the war. What else are we for? They owe.